They said that we'd grow out of it. Well, the joke's on them, that's just our brains. We're eccentric, loud, and stubborn, and most of our clothing is covered in stains. It's not a deficit of attention, there's just too much to think about. So if executive dysfunction becomes a little too much, if you forgot why you came in this room, or you're hypersensitive to touch, then put on your seamless socks and come join our little flock. Bitches stimming together, we're weirds of a feather, weirds of a feather.
I don't know about you, I'm feeling 32. Arthritis in both my knees. Someone just kill me, please. Just preparing that for you.
I like it.
Yeah. That's how I feel.
Is this because you're turning 32 tomorrow?
I am turning 32 tomorrow. Actually, when we're recording this, I'm turning 32 tomorrow. I don't know how to feel about it.
Season of Capricorn.
Yep.
This is your time.
Oh, I went to that thing where the lady was going to tell us about Capricorn. Not as cool as when I went for the Sagittarius. Turns out she's got a little bit of bias against Capricorn. Fuck her. But there was another lady who did tarot readings, and it was pretty cool. This is the season to set your goddamn goals, people. Set them.
This is the dawning of the age of the Capricorn. Age of the Capricorn.
Set your goals. Here's my goal. To just keep existing for a little bit.
I mean, that's a solid goal that hopefully you can achieve. Let's get this episode going because I made a discovery about... So you know how for a while we were smelling like a burning plastic in the pod loft?
Yeah, it was like the worst smelling candle.
Yeah, a candle that you do not want and did not buy.
Yeah.
Turns out that it was from a light bulb melting the carpet from our string lights.
No.
Yep.
No.
Yeah, one of the bulbs
in the pod loft?
Yep, one of the bulbs was resting on the apparently very synthetic, cheap carpet.
What? This
made
is
of plastic.
Finest carpet.
The finest plastic carpet.
The finest carpet
and
that's heavily sprayed with like stain-resistant chemicals, right?
Yeah. Well, the good news is that it didn't go up in flames.
Well, there
and we
you
are
go.
alive
Because of
to
those
tell
chemicals.
this tale. Yeah, so instead of setting on fire, it just like melted a hole into the carpet. So we'll post a picture.
What you want in your... Oh my God.
We'll post a picture
it
of the burn mark. Yep, there's a hole.
I'm going to look.
Yep.
Where is it? Oh my God.
Yep, so that mystery has been
solved. It goes through the floor.
Yeah, it is a big
deep?
burn hole.
You get those measurements.
Why? Oh, yeah.
How many knuckles?
Is that what we're using for measurement now?
Yeah, it's a common measurement.
I don't know. 2 knuckles? Which knuckle?
Well, you have the DIP and you have the PIP, or you have the MTP. Or MCP, sorry.
I don't know.
DIP is your first knuck. It's like right underneath your fingernail. DIP, distal interphalangeal joint. Then you have your proximal. That's your like what most people think as knuckles, right? Your proximal interphalangeal joint. And then you have the MCP, the metacarpal phalangeal joint. Yes.
You sound confident.
It's
about like 1.5 inches.
How many knuckles is that?
I don't know the knuckle to inch
you're gonna
conversion.
have to convert it. Yeah,
Right.
I wonder if Google has a conversion from inches to knuckles.
Yeah, so that was the smell. Solved that mystery. The Scooby-Doo gang strikes again.
Solved.
Yep.
If it wasn't for you meddling kids.
Try to burn us down.
Yeah, with your synthetic carpet and your nice bulbs.
Yep. Also, I don't know who came up with this, but have you heard the quote, they tried to bury us, but they didn't know we were potatoes?
No.
Because the classic one is like, they tried to bury us, they didn't know we were seeds. So they tried to burn us down, they didn't know we were potatoes. Anyways,
that's fantastic.
Let's get into our podcast.
Yeah, let's get into it.
You are listening to Carpet Burns.
Yeah, this is Carpet Burners.
We just talk
Sounds
about
like a bad porn.
Yeah, carpet burners. Ugh. We just talk about different various carpet fires, carpet materials. People don't like it, but here we are.
Classic flammable carpet fires.
Yep.
This is Weirds of a Feather, an ADHD-adjacent podcast.
Has nothing to do with carpets.
But sometimes.
Sometimes.
I'm your host, Grace.
I'm your host, Kristin. And here we are.
Here we are.
Yeah, talking about anything to add on the carpet.
Yep.
Do you really?
No.
Oh.
That's it.
Okay.
I have nothing else to say on that matter.
All right. Well, should we get into we got a topic. We got a topic today.
Oh boy, do we have a topic.
Hotly debated topic.
Yes.
Kind of. Is it debated or is it just talked about? It's hotly talked about.
People are talking. Well, I mean, there is some debate to it, so I'll get into it. So for our ADHD Learning Corner this episode, I thought it was about time that we read off some of the, well, researchers call them symptoms, but I prefer traits because ADHD is not an illness. It's just how our brains are designed. So I wanted to read off.
That's lovely.
Yeah. I'm not like dying of ADHD. It's just like one
long
illness, permanent
carpet burn.
True that.
All right. We were going to rein it in today, but I guess not.
We've already started off on a bad note.
Bad note. Continue.
I wanted to read off some of the traits of inattentive and hyperactive-impulsive types of ADHD, according to the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, 5th edition, aka the DSM-5.
Oh, yeah.
Kristin,
by far the best DSM.
Out of all the DSMs, the 5 is
there's 5
the
of them.
Holy shit, there are?
Yeah.
I was wondering why they named it that.
It's a trilogy.
Well, what's a 5? What's 5?
Quintuplets.
No. Is it quintuplets? Quin is 5, right?
Yeah, Quin's 5.
All right, the
trilogy, but make it 5.
What'd she say?
A pentology.
Oh.
There you go.
All right, the DSM pentology. So, Kristin, why don't you read the inattentive traits first, and then I will read the hyperactive-impulsive traits.
Okay, because I think I'm more of an inattentive person, right? Yeah.
You say that.
I say that.
Which is why I'm very interested to see if you relate to any of the traits.
Okay.
A quick reminder, anyone can experience some of these things some of the time. The difference is how many of them you experience, how often, and how disruptive they are to your life and well-being, and whether they were present in childhood. About the clinical requirements for receiving an ADHD diagnosis, the CHAD website says, quote, "In making the diagnosis, adults should have at least 5 of the symptoms present. These symptoms can change over time, so adults may fit different presentations from when they were children.
Oh.
A diagnosis of ADHD is determined by the clinician based on the number and severity of symptoms, the duration of symptoms, and the degree to which these symptoms cause impairment in various areas of life, such as home, school, or work, with friends or relatives, or in other activities." End quote. The DSM and the process for diagnosing ADHD aren't perfect, but we still do recommend talking to your doctor or therapist if you suspect that you could have ADHD and you are able to access these. There are some good ones out there who can be very helpful. As terrible as some of them are, there can also be good ones. The DSM is also not a comprehensive list, which is one of the flaws in the diagnostic process. That and the overall lack of knowledge and the way it's diagnosed from an outsider's perspective, and is essentially based on how disruptive you are to others and or how much you're failing at participating in capitalism.
Oh my God.
Yep.
Failures in the medical community.
Believe it or not.
Wow.
Yep. There are also traits like emotional dysregulation that we talked about last episode that still aren't recognized by the DSM for some reason, but this is a good list of some of the most disruptive aspects. So, Kristin, let it rip.
All right.
Tell us those inattentive.
Inattentive. Okay, numero uno. Fails to give close attention to details or makes careless mistakes.
Yep. Been there.
Has difficulty sustaining attention. Yep.
Understatement of the year.
Yep. Does not appear to listen. How about this? Does not listen. That's me.
It's not just an appearance.
I don't appear to listen because I'm not listening.
Yep, same.
So check that one. Struggles to follow through with instructions.
If you even read them.
Yeah.
I don't even read them.
Sometimes I follow through. It depends. It depends on the task. If it's, it depends on the task.
If it's something I want to learn, I can read the instructions.
Yeah, a lot of times I wing it though.
Yep.
Yeah. Has difficulty with organization. Yes. Avoids or dislikes tasks requiring sustained mental effort. Absolutely.
Literally, yes.
Literally cannot. You can't make me do it. I will do it, but I'll wait till the last possible second.
Same. Even on medication, I still avoid those tasks as much as I can.
Yeah. I didn't want to call my vet back, so I didn't. Snickers is fine. She just had an issue. She's like, anal glands. Loses things. Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Easily distracted. What?
This whole podcast is an ode to that.
is forgetful in daily activities. I have been saying repeatedly that I feel like I'm in this constant cycle of forgetting and re-remembering things. It's like a cyclical memory is what I call it.
I feel that.
Yeah. So those are it. So I think I would check off 95% of those.
I would check off 100%.
What was the one that I didn't want to? Oh, the follow through. Follow through only, I would say 99.9%.
Yeah, I guess it's situational. And that's the thing with ADHD. It's like in some scenarios, we can do these things really well. Like, obviously, we've both done this podcast. You are a physician's assistant. You know, we both have master's
Physician's
degrees.
associate.
Sorry, physician's associate.
No, it's okay. My name tag still says physician assistant.
You're a PA.
I call myself a physician assistant.
Yeah. So obviously we are capable of sustaining attention.
Every once in a while.
Yeah, we've talked about that hyper focus and how like when we're locked in, we can really, really do something super well. But in other scenarios that we're not interested, oh my God, sustaining attention and following through on instructions is impossible.
Yeah.
So needless to say, we both definitely have inattentive type, but I would like to also read you the traits of hyperactive-impulsive type.
Yeah.
And just see if you also relate to these.
Okay.
All right, one, here you go. Fidgets with hands or feet or squirms in chair.
Oh, God, yes.
Sorry to call you out immediately,
I know.
but
I have my stegosaurus with me, so we're good.
You're fidgeting stegosaurus.
My fidgetosaurus.
Ooh, business idea. Fidget toys that are also stegosauruses. Fidgetosaurus. All right, 2, has difficulty remaining seated.
Yeah.
Runs about or climbs excessively in children, but extreme restlessness in adults.
Okay, I was going to say, I'm not much of a climber, but...
You're always climbing the walls.
Yeah.
But extreme restlessness, yes.
Yes,
for both of us.
Yes.
Difficulty, sorry to call you out again, difficulty engaging in activities quietly.
Quietly?
Yes, difficulty engaging in activities quietly.
Yeah.
All right.
I know.
Acts as if driven by a motor. Adults will often feel inside as if they are driven by a motor. So this one bothers me because...
I don't understand what they're... Like isn't that just like restlessness?
This is one of those like very stereotypical ADHD traits that gets a lot of hyperactive boys diagnosed. But so I don't like the way this is worded because I see plenty of people who are hyperactive.
Is this trying to talk about like hyperfocus?
No, just like it seems like you're always like zipping around. I kind of interpret it as. So like that
what
stereotypical
if you're just not
boy.
Fast? What if you're just a slow runner?
You don't have to be fast, but just like as if you're like, gotta do this, now I gotta do this, now I gotta do that. Oh. So like feeling inside as if you're driven by a motor. Like I relate to that. You know, sometimes it just feels like I'm like, gotta go.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not necessarily doing anything of importance.
That's such a weird...
It's just one of those external observations, you know?
Oh, driven by a motor. Neurotypical wrote that for sure.
Oh, 100%. They wrote all of these.
I don't even know. I don't know. You explained it to me, but I still don't understand that fully.
I think of it as like feeling antsy. Like I feel like, ooh.
Oh, okay.
You know?
Then check it off for me.
All right. Sorry again, but talks excessively.
What? No!
We literally started a podcast so we could talk.
The archetype of restraint.
Totally. That's so you.
Austere.
Yes. That's what I think of you as.
Yeah.
Blurts out answers. Blurts out answers before questions have been completed.
Yeah.
So we know that one.
Yeah.
Difficulty waiting or taking turns.
Yes.
Yep. And last one, interrupts or intrudes upon others.
Yeah.
I beat you to it. So what do you think?
I think I scored it. Like, I think I got an A.
I think you nailed
it.
Not to like unofficially diagnose you on air, but you fit all of those, both of those. We both do.
Well, that was... Sorry, I'm fidgeting. I'm fidgeting with my my pee-popping thing. Yeah, this is kind of eye-opening.
Yeah, we think of hyperactive as just kind of that, you know, stereotypical driven by a motor, zipping around the classroom.
I still don't know what that means. Driven by what motor? What if your motor sucks?
Driven by a sad motor that doesn't go very well.
Driven to what? Driven to madness? Because that's where I'm going right now, trying to figure out what this means.
But like the talking excessively one, I feel like is a big trait of hyperactive type that we don't really talk about. And that leads to girls not being diagnosed as much because maybe we're not zipping around the classroom, but we're like talking and talking.
They're quirky.
Yeah, or we're rude, you know?
Oh, yeah.
We're just seen as like rude children.
Yeah.
So needless to say, I think we are both combined type.
Nice.
But best of both worlds.
Nailed it.
Yep. Go us.
10 out of 10 or whatever that was, like 15 traits.
Whatever.
Nice.
Yeah. So those are all pretty much like negative traits, I would say.
Yeah.
You know, they're always phrased in this kind of negative way.
Because it's a disorder. There's something wrong with you.
Yes. But we also thought it was really important to talk about the strengths of ADHD because there are so many strengths. And it's always, ignored because you're only diagnosed based on how annoying you are to others. And so they're not focusing on the strengths.
Yeah. So, David, get your jammies on. This one's for you. Talking about strengths.
Yep. My father-in-law, David, the one who listens to this podcast before he goes to bed.
Yeah. Maybe we shouldn't be yelling so much so he can go to... Wake up, David, and listen!
But I go to bed! So, my father-in-law, David, asked me about some of the strengths of ADHD.
That's a good question.
Yeah, and I realized that we don't always talk about those. We're always kind of joking about how difficult ADHD can be. So, I was really glad he said that to me because I was like, oh yeah, we don't always talk about the strengths, and I think they're really important to mention. So, Kristin and I just came up with some of the strengths that we see in ADHD. So hyperfocus, that's a really big strength of ADHD.
Yeah.
When we get hyperfocused on something, we can really just go and go and go and learn this thing in and out so deeply and just be very meticulous. So I think that's a big strength.
Yep.
We also have nonlinear thinking. This leads to creativity, thinking outside of the box, considering things that other people wouldn't think of. For example, hedgehog terrarium.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I put wound care there. Oh, we don't have to talk about wound care. I think of it in my job, I think outside the box because I work with a lot of wounds. And sometimes, you could give the textbook answer, which is like, you do this dressing, you do it twice a day, and then come back and see me in a week. But sometimes they can't do it twice a day because they can't reach their little toesies. And so they have to get a person to help them. And then you have to kind of work with what they have and what's available to them and kind of get a little creative, which is kind of nice.
Mm.
It's nice in a terrible kind of way.
Perfect. But
or I guess it's terrible, but in a nice way.
Yeah, so neurotypicals have linear thinking where they're kind of just thinking, I don't know, I guess, one connected thought goes to another connected thought in a line and it just makes sense.
Yeah.
Whereas our thinking is we
a web.
talk of it like a web or an explosion of thoughts, like a galaxy, one thought leads
almost
to...
Remember in second grade when you were first learning how to write essays and stuff, or not essays, but some sentences, and you had to brainstorm and there's different types of brainstorming, and you could do oh God, it's going to kill me with the word, where you have topic 1 and then you have 3 things about it, and then topic 2 and then 3 things about
an
it.
Outline?
I
didn't know.
That one.
It's that can't be the word
you
she's
have an
thinking
outline
of.
Or you could do a web,
Oh,
remember?
yeah,
You could
I
do
always did the web.
webs. I think we're web people.
Yes, we're web people.
When living in an outline world.
Oh, that's a really good way of putting it. I like that.
Non-linear thinking.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, that's a good way to put it. So it can be difficult to live in an outline world when you have that web thinking, but it also leads to a lot of, creativity and problem solving. We're very good at problem solving. We see solutions that other people don't. We have a good awareness of everything going around us, for better or worse. ADHD, attention deficit, is such a misnomer because it's not a deficit of attention, like we say in our intro song. It's too much attention, and we're, paying attention to everything. I recently saw a good TikTok that was saying that neurotypical people focus their attention on things from one thing to the next, like a flashlight. You can only focus on this one thing, and that's what you're focusing on. Whereas neurodivergent people,
I saw that one too.
Yeah, we take
Maybe
in.
You sent it to me?
I did send it to you. That's why you saw it. We take in information like a lantern rather than a flashlight. So we're not just focusing our attention on one thing and, okay, now I think about that thing that I see. We're constantly taking in all the information around us. So imagine trying to focus on something super boring when you're getting all this input from, there's birds chirping outside and someone's skipping down the hallway and so-and-so is twiddling with their pen. It's really hard to focus on this one boring thing when you're constantly taking in all this info around you. So it can...
But then we hyper-focus and we turn into lasers.
Lasers. Yeah, we could either be lanterns or lasers. I like that.
It's a lantern kind of day today.
Yeah, it's definitely a lantern kind of day. Yeah, I thought that was a cool way of thinking about it and just kind of explaining why it always seems like we're looking around and, paying attention to everything except what we should be paying attention to. It's because we're just being bombarded by that lantern type observation. But it can also be a big strength, that we're paying attention to everything, so we're seeing things that other people aren't noticing.
Mm-hmm. And then not noticing the things that we should probably notice. But,
Yes.
But that's okay.
That's okay.
So another thing is that we have a deep sense of empathy most of the time.
I
think we have heightened senses of empathy.
Yes, we do.
I think it helps in my job. I think sometimes it can be trying.
Yeah, it can definitely be exhausting. But I think part of why this happens to us is because we've been excluded from things, or, you know, we've been the one that's making a mistake or doesn't know what to do or whatever.
We get
our
yelled
whole
at
lives.
by the teacher.
Yeah, and so we develop a really deep sense of empathy for others who are judged or treated unfairly. I think that we can empathize with those people. So, yeah, it can definitely be exhausting. We're not empaths, because that's bullshit. That's just...
I don't even know what that means.
I mean, I think anyone who's...
feelings.
Yeah.
I think that's like most people.
I think people who self-label as an empath, everyone feels emotions. You're not special because you can feel emotions, you know?
Yeah.
So, I don't like that label. So, if anything, our deep sense of empathy might be a trauma response, but hey, we can sometimes use that, you know, to our benefit.
Trauma!
Woohoo! Thanks, trauma.
Thank you. Another one, so kind of like piggybacking on that, piggy dipping in the piggy pond. Sorry. Can't get that out of my head.
Piggy dipping!
Piggy dipping! So cute.
It's so
cute. Wholesome.
I know.
Strong reactions to injustice, which basically means that we're rioters.
Yes.
Burn it down. Eat the rich. Hey, Cap!
When my mom took me to see my first movie in the movie theater when I was 4, it was Pocahontas.
Nice.
And apparently in the scene where they're cutting down all the trees, when all the white colonizers are cutting down the trees, I stood up on my chair and I yelled, "They're killing the forest!" So I was having a strong reaction to injustice. So,
oh my gosh, this is really funny.
Yeah.
As you should have, because they were killing the forest.
I know, I'm still upset about it.
Yeah.
So this could, definitely be a positive trait where I think it makes us, really outspoken. The only problem with this is that I think you can just as easily have the wrong idea of what injustice is.
Oh, very true.
So if you're an ADHDer and, maybe you don't have good social awareness and you think you're the most oppressed person to ever live and something doesn't go your way, you see that as injustice and that could piss you off. So I guess it just depends on what you're using as your definition of injustice, but I feel like the majority of us have like a strong moral compass.
I think the majority of the people we associate with have a pretty strong moral compass.
Yes, but unfortunately, there are plenty of bad ADHDers out there, so that's a bummer. Looking at you, Justin Timberlake.
Oh, wait, what's wrong with Justin Timberlake?
Oh, so many things. He's an asshole.
Oh.
But anyways, we'll save that for another time. I'll go on my Justin Timberlake
he's like
rant.
One of
the way he treated Britney. I won't get into it.
Oh my gosh, yes. Fuck you, Justin.
Among many other things. And he has ADHD. And when I first learned that, I was like, oh, cool, Justin Timberlake has ADHD. That's why he's funny and creative. And then I dove deeper into who he is as a person. I was like, oh, you suck. So I'll save that rant.
Don't you dare touch Britney.
Leave Britney alone. So going off that, we may suck sometimes, but we do have a great sense of humor.
Yeah.
That's another strong trait of ADHD.
That's what people tell us.
Yeah.
Every once in a while.
We maybe use humor as a coping strategy, but hey, it works. Here we are coping.
Yep.
We're also unique and weird, which, you know us. We see weird as a good thing.
We're quirky.
Yeah. Lots of ADHDers are amazing inventors, artists, comedians, actors, musicians, you name it. We have done it. A lot of famous inventors throughout history have been neurodivergent, often ADHD
Do you think
and or
Michelangelo
autistic.
was an ADHDer? Because he did it all.
Actually, I feel like I have heard
inventor.
I feel like I have
artist.
heard that about him. Hold on. Nope. Yeah. Michelangelo does? Oh, that's the Ninja Turtle.
I mean, for sure. I absolutely agree with that.
Glad we solved that question.
So if you're all wondering, Michelangelo the Ninja Turtle for sure.
Yes. That was the first thing that came up.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? So I think I screwed up my Google algorithm for sure. Trying to look up video games associated with ADHD, and boy, oh boy, or the history of video games, which we'll get into later. You know what I found was an article on the biography of Barron Trump. I'm like, he's 12.
Biography?
Biography? What is for 12 years? He was born and he went to elementary school, and that's where we are right now. He's a child.
All right. Well, it looks like the real Michelangelo was autistic.
Oh,
So when we say neurodivergent, we mean ADHD and autistic.
Likely suffered.
Suffered, let's not use that word suffered.
Oh, yeah.
This article says suffered. You don't suffer from autism, and it's not high-functioning autism. So don't refer to things as high-functioning or low-functioning. They all function with how it's...
They function how they function.
It needs high supports, needs low supports. But we're not talking about functioning, because functioning is based in eugenics, just like Asperger's. But once again, that's for another time. But
we need to do an episode on that autism and just like going about it.
Yes. Yeah, I did want to say, I keep forgetting to mention that there's about a 50% comorbidity rate with ADHD and autism.
Holy shit.
So if you have ADHD, you have a 50% chance of also being autistic and vice versa. And this is what I've heard, that some of the traits of ADHD and autism can look similar, but the actual like cause of those traits is different. So we do need to do a deep dive into that, because there is some overlap in how they present, at least. And then both can have things like sensory processing disorder. Like I have a sensory processing disorder, so does Kristin.
Yeah.
So that can be seen in both ADHD and autism. Same with auditory processing disorder.
Yep.
So there are some overlaps, but they are different. So it's important to know the differences. So we will definitely do an episode on that.
Suffered from high-functioning autism called Asperger's. When was this written?
Everything about that sentence is terrible.
When was
Suffered, high-functioning, Asperger's. Those are all wrong. All of those phrases are wrong to use.
God, this is written in like...
Michelangelo, one of the greatest artists of all time, he really suffered from autism.
Yeah,
like that's what made him...
Suffered.
That's what made him so amazing.
Jesus Christ.
Yep.
This is back in the 90s. I bet this was written in like 1999.
His family described him as erratic and had trouble applying himself to anything.
Oh, Jesus.
So
be better, WebMD. Come on.
Yeah, that's disappointing.
But I guess it's WebMD. Don't use WebMD. Don't use it to diagnose yourself with anything, because it's garbage.
Yep.
Go see a professional. I know that's difficult.
Yes.
But you're going to end up convincing yourself that you have cancer.
All right. So we
need to do
summary,
some breaths here.
Michelangelo, the Ninja Turtle, has ADHD. Glad we learned that. All right. Let's take a deep breath, do a transition, and get into those segments.
Transition.
Oh, transition. That's right. All right. And we're back from that great transition.
Yeah.
I've taken some breaths, had a sip of water.
Yeah.
I've calmed down a little bit. I'm still upset.
We
but
stretched.
I'll try to bury it down.
Yeah. It's okay. It's okay to have these strong feelings.
Thank you.
It's a big feel you're going through.
It is. Yeah. I need to crawl it out.
Yeah.
All right, guys, give me a few minutes. I got to go crawl it out.
We'll be back.
All right. Should we get into our little accomplishments?
I'm ready. Little accomplishments, but big in our hearts.
All right. Kristin, why don't you tell us your little accomplishment for the week?
Was not little at all. It was big. I deep cleaned and rearranged my apartment in one day.
Whoa.
Yeah, I took a whole bag of clothes to Goodwill, and that bag was not sitting in my car for 2 months. It was all in one day.
Good job.
Bum, 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 bum. I'm proud of myself.
That is a big accomplishment.
Mm-hmm.
There's that hyper focus.
There it was. You know? It was my boyfriend and I. We went into it. We're like, it's going to be chaos, and then it's going to be better, and it was.
Good job. I'm proud of you.
Thank you. What's your little accomplishment?
So you have inspired me.
Oh my gosh.
And I have been taking my vitamins. Aren't you proud of me?
I'm so proud. I feel like a mama bear.
Thank you. Yeah, I take this horse pill of turmeric, and it like gets stuck in my throat about half the time, and then I'm like burping up turmeric. It's going really well.
Why don't you just snort it instead?
Oh, that would burn.
No, actually, turmeric is very good for you because they've been finding that it reacts or kind of like blocks your COX-2, which is like a real chemical in your body.
It's a cock block.
And it reacts the same way or a similar way that ibuprofen does to reduce inflammation.
Oh, I didn't know that. I knew that it was good for my joints. So I didn't know why.
Inflammation. Yeah. So
well, yay.
There's a better way to explain that, but basically they have been finding nothing. I got to re-look at the research, but that's like a real thing that it has a similar mechanism of action as ibuprofen.
Well, that's very good to know. All right. I'll keep choking down that horse pill. And I'm taking my vitamin D.
Nice.
Yep.
Yes. There is less sun, so you shall take the D.
My mom was, I shall take the D. What a fancy way of saying that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
That's okay. I was going to say, my mom said that in the Northeast, I can't remember like where up, maybe Georgia, in the winter from like October, November until the spring, even when there is sun outside, it's not close enough to the earth to actually give us vitamin D that we can absorb. So even if you're out in the sun in the winter, you're not getting vitamin D, which I didn't know.
Yeah. The sun's far away from the earth because the earth is tilted away from us. It's not about the sun being closer. It's us being tilted at the wrong place.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. We're off-tilted, and until the summer, we'll be retilted to be closer to the sun.
I can't wait for that retiltedness. Well, until then, I'm taking that D.
Some astronomer is going to be like, oh, she fucked that up.
You think astronomers are listening to this
You know
podcast?
what? Maybe there's an ADHD astronomer who's just like...
That would be impressive.
Yeah.
Right into us, ADHD astronomers.
Did I get that right? It's about the Earth tilting. The axis, and it goes around, and then in the winter, it's tilted away from the sun. And then in the summer, it's tilted towards.
Well, that's if you even believe the Earth is round.
Ooh.
No, I'm just kidding.
What do the flat earthers think? They're like... how do they explain seasons? It doesn't
You're trying to add logic to an illogical ideology of the Earth is flat because I say so. And wouldn't that be simple?
Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah. All right, on that note, let's get that kazoo going.
Let me get my kazoo ready.
There it is. Some people call me Spacey.
You want to try that again? Yeah. All right. Round 2.
All right, I got this
like on like 2 different...
I know. All the words just left my brain.
I know the feeling.
I got to use your songbook.
Yeah.
Pizza secrets. Tell me your secrets. Pizza secrets. All right. All right. Tune me in. Some people call me Spacey, some people call me fun, but I'm just quirky. Beautiful.
Yeah.
There's no Lucy to get upset today.
Lucy. She's not here to be upset, so I figured I'd add that one in.
Really kazoo it up today.
Yeah, just for the listeners for responding to my polls about more kazoos.
Yes, where you didn't give them an option for less kazoo. Yeah. It was kazoo or more kazoo.
There was no option for less kazoos because they're not going to get less kazoos.
Not an option.
They would get the regular amount, or they would get more,
or nothing.
No, they would always get kazoos. That's like the whole point. Oh. You want to tell us your quirks? You got quirks?
Yeah, I got some quirks.
I want to hear about them quirks.
All right, one, I brought a baked bean and cheese burrito to school for lunch in elementary school for like 3 years straight.
Remember this, and I'm a little jealous.
So weird. It's not even like, I don't know.
Baked beans or
it's not
refried beans?
No, baked beans.
Oh,
like refried beans or black beans would make it more normal, like kind of like a Mexican dish. No, baked beans.
B&M baked beans.
Yep.
That's a main brand, by the way.
Yep, vegetarian.
That closed down.
Vegetarian baked beans.
Oh, heck yeah.
Rolled up in a cheesy burrito. And then you kind of fry it in a pan.
Now you got me thinking about bean and cheese burritos.
I love a bean and cheese burrito. Yeah. Baked beans. But that's a weird thing to bring to school for lunch. And I did it like every single day. Yeah. All right. 2, multiple times I have put a glass Tupperware on the roof of my car and have driven off and had it smashed behind me in the street. Oh. I've done that multiple times.
Also, those are like indestructible. So
apparently not.
To you.
Yeah. I'm pretty impressive. You tell me this is unbreakable.
I'm going to find a way.
Yet. Yeah. Yeah, but a couple times I've done it when I was like heading to the clinic in grad school and I had my lunch in there, left on the roof, went to go at a stoplight and it just slid off and smashed behind me and there goes my lunch.
Yep. The car behind you was like, oh my God.
I know. I've always thought about that. Sorry, cars behind me. And 3, I have been sent to collections multiple times for small bills that I had the money to pay, but I just didn't.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm always convinced that they don't really mean it for some reason. Even though I've been told time and time again, they mean it.
No.
Yeah. So
they're fine.
They're bluffing. They're not really going to send me to collections.
If they really meant it, they'd send you an email.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm so quirky.
Yeah, you're so quirky.
I'm so quirky. All right, Kristin, what are your quirks?
I too have one about elementary school lunches. I used to bring placemats like my own little cloth placemat to put on my desk.
You are an old woman.
I am an old woman, but I didn't want to eat lunch on my gross desk. Also because I was like so grossed out because we got to bleep out his name. Are you ready?
Yep.
Remember?
Yes.
And he'd always take his retainer out and just put it right next to my desk, and then I'd have to eat next to that. And I was like,
where's my placemat?
Yeah. So I would bring a little placemat, and I put all my like little tuppies on my placemat.
Oh, tuppies.
The lunch lady loved it. She said I was cute.
You are cute.
I was like, thanks. Here's another cute thing I used to do.
Yeah, let's hear it.
After reading Black Beauty, I went through a phase where I told everyone I was changing my name to Merrylegs.
Which
is one of the, I think it's the pony. Is that the one that dies? Oh, spoiler. Hold on, I gotta look at it.
That came out like 50 years ago.
Well,
I don't know Black Beauty. I just remember Merrylegs and you.
Yeah. Well, just because I wouldn't shut up about becoming Merrylegs.
Yeah, you talked about Merrylegs a lot.
Hold on. Which horse dies in Black Beauty? One of them does. It's like a horrific animal abuse death.
God. Also, we should get some like elevator music for me to put in whenever we're looking something up. You know?
What? I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention. I can't find it. Okay. Anyway.
Right.
One of the horses died. I'm pretty sure it's Merrylegs because he was like the little pony and he died a horrific death from animal abuse.
And you were like, I want that name.
That's what I want to be named after. I'm pretty sure someone we're gonna get hate from the horse girls, but that's okay. Bring it on, horse girls.
Yeah, come at us, horse girls. Yep. We can take you. Unless you're on horses, and then probably not.
Probably not.
You have the upper hand.
Yeah.
Also, I'm allergic, so stay away from me.
Yeah, I am too. One time a horse sneezed on me, and I was like, that's it. I'm off horses.
I'm over you. All right. What's your third quirk?
Oh, my third one. So I have, maybe you can help me on this one, but I keep sending like extremely, I'm going to call it like terse or curt emails, texts, some sort of form of communication to coworkers because I'm trying very hard to relay all kinds of my thoughts and my feelings in my head very briefly while remaining professional. And then I sound like a total bitch and then I feel bad. I've repeatedly sent I'm sorry text messages to the wound care nurse and I feel really bad about it. Because she's like, ask me all these things. Do you think it's a vascular problem? Well, I don't know what's going on. Do you think you should do this? Do you think you should do this? And I'll just write, no.
Yeah, you do actually send pretty curt texts.
I can't figure out.
Often you go, oh, and that's all you respond with. And I don't know if it's like a, oh, or like a, oh.
It's usually like, oh. If it's a, oh, I'll just write OH period.
Yeah, you do have very curt text.
I don't mean to.
I know, and I'm not offended by them. So
I have so many thoughts and feelings that it's hard for me to like write them on paper.
I know. I think the biggest solution to this is for society to be more understanding because often we are like direct communicators. Like, you know, we don't like small talk. We think it's a waste of time to stand around doing all these freaking boring pleasantries. Like, I'm either going to give you a deep dive into my weekend or I don't want to talk about it. And so I think part of that is that you're not using enough like flowery, comforting language that will make others feel like they're not being attacked. But I feel like that's a them problem, you know?
Well, the other day, it's kind of both of our problems. The other day, literally, this just happened last week. One of my MAs came in and she goes, I don't know what I did today, but I'm really sorry. And I'm like, what? And I guess I was just like very like blunt and like, yeah, let's do it. Let's go. And she thought I was mad at her. And I'm like, I'm not mad. I just have a lot of feelings and I just want to bottle them up. Because that's how I was raised.
Yeah, we can work on it. We can find a happy medium, but
how do I just have, there's a lot going on in my brain. And if I try to like, especially when people are trying to tell me like, oh, what do you want to use for wound care? And I'm like, you don't want to know what's going on up in here.
Well, I do the opposite where I just send like paragraphs and paragraphs of text. So.
You do. And I see it and I go.
And you oh.
I go, oh, as in acknowledging I've read this, but I have so many thoughts that I don't want to formally respond to it.
That's all right.
Yeah.
But I'm okay with that. I know what you mean. I know I'm not offended. So.
Yeah.
Part of it is just people need to learn who you are.
Should I use more emojis? Maybe that's what I want. More emojis are disarming. I get to do the disco man emoji, you know?
Literally, I do that. If I think I'm sending something that's a little too like rough, but I don't know how to make it sound more friendly, I just put an emoji. Though? What is professional?
Yeah,
you know, who made up the concept of what professional is? Neurotypicals. So we can come up with our own form of professional. That's like how we want to operate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm like silent, or I'm like, here's a bunch of things about nothing.
Oh, same.
But yeah, so I'm so quirky. Everybody's mad at me.
You're so quirky, Merrylegs.
Ooh, that was a fun transition, guys.
All right.
I know you've been excited about our hobby collectors
I'm so fucking excited.
topic for a while, so let's get into those hobby collectors.
Beep, boop, boop.
I know.
Welcome to Hobby Collectors. We changed it up because we're doing video games. That was a sound effects from Space Invaders.
Whoa.
Going back. If you've been trapped under a rock for the past century, video games are games that you play, sometimes with other people, sometimes by yourself, that are attached in some way, shape, or form to some sort of screen device, a phone, a TV, a Game Boy, etc.
So if you just came out of a coma,
and you don't know what a TV or a phone is,
we can't help you. How would you get onto this podcast?
But how do you explain video games to someone who's never heard of a video game before? It's a game that's in a video form.
Yes. Other than that, we can't help you.
Yeah. I'm really pumped about this hobby because I don't want to say I'm a gamer, but I socially game.
Me as well.
Yeah. You ready for some hobby history that no one cares about? Okay. So I thought the first official game was Atari, but I was wrong. First official video game was in 1952 by a British guy, forget his name, don't care. And it was called OXO, which is basically tic-tac-toe, or as the British call it, noughts and crosses.
What the fuck?
I know.
Noughts and crosses.
You know what? I think that makes more sense than tic-tac-toe. What the fuck is a tic-tac-toe?
Yeah, where did that come from?
Noughts and crosses makes sense because a cross X, and I don't really know what a knot is, but maybe like a knot, you like tie it in a loop first and make a knot. That's what I'm thinking.
Well, tic-tac-toe probably came out of something racist.
That's exactly what America. I was going to say. It's probably racist.
Yes. So let's go with noughts and crosses.
Noughts and crosses, guys.
Unless that's racist also. And then let's call it
OXO.
OXO.
There you go. So, yeah. So that was the first one, 1952, which is crazy.
That is crazy.
The first
really
home
early
console. Once again, I was like, it's got to be Atari, but it's not. It's this thing called Odyssey, and that was in 1972, and it had 28 different games on it, one of which, Atari's Pong, which was like, you remember Pong?
Yes.
If you don't know what Pong is, I can't even. We don't have time for this. Go read a book.
Grow up.
Grow up. Gen Z. No, we love you, Gen Z.
We do have one Gen Z listener now.
Oh, do we?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Althea, I think. Is that how you say her name?
Nice. Welcome.
And she actually wrote us in a few quirks and whatnot, so we will be reading those soon on an episode.
Nice.
So our one Gen Z listener, what's up?
Yes, Gen Z. But yeah, so Atari's Pong was loosely based on one of these Odyssey games, and Atari got sued over this. And I think that was the end of Atari, but I'm not sure. And to be honest, I just don't care. So let's do other big moments in gaming history. Sega, Nintendo, Game Boy, which is also a Nintendo thing. That was a big thing because it was like a pocket size. It was about the size of an iPhone, but like double the thickness, Gen Z.
Althea.
Super Mario Brothers was a big one because it had like better graphics. I want to say PlayStation. I added my own here. Another one. What's the one where they like that was super violent that like everybody's moms wrote in about? It was like karate.
Oh,
Mortal Kombat.
Street Fighter?
Oh my gosh, it was such a good one. But yeah, it was like on the news. I was like, it's causing our kids to be violent. So violent. Has nothing to do with our gun policy.
Couldn't be. It must be those little men kicking at each other.
Yes. PlayStation was a big one because that was the first one that incorporated CD-ROMs.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes. And then Angry Birds grossed over $200 million in 2012. Isn't that bonkers?
That is bonkers.
They also made a movie about it. It wasn't very good.
It doesn't sound good.
Yeah. My nephews like it, but...
Of course they do.
Yeah.
Fools!
And I also added for my own thing, Pokemon Go. I never played, but it finally got like gamers out of the house, and I think that's great.
Yeah.
Someone got stabbed over that, but...
People get stabbed all the time.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Am I a gamer? Kind of. You know what I used to play in the past? RuneScape. Remember RuneScape? Someone
Barely.
remembers. I know someone's out there who remembers RuneScape, and I'm going to take a poll on it. But basically, it was like before World of Warcraft. It was, you could be like a little medieval knight and run around and do quests, and it was like connected to the internet. Can you still play it?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Someone write in. Are there any RuneScape players out here? Oh, those look nice.
Ooh.
That's not. No, mine was like in like 8-bit pixels.
Let's do original.
My knight looked like a little gray blob.
Like this?
No.
Even worse?
Even worse. Even worse.
Well, like this?
Exactly. Exactly. And you were just a little knight. You ran around and everybody you had like areas that were safe, which is, you know what I did? Here's a fun story. So I used to hoe myself out as a lady knight. I just like had a skirt on and you get these people who come up to you and they'd be like, "Are you a girl in real life?" And I'd go, "Yeah." And they go, "Will you be my girlfriend?" I go, "Yeah." Like 5 different people did this to me. And then they're like, "If you're my girlfriend, I have to give you gifts." And I'm like, "Absolutely." And they give me all this like nice armor and stuff.
Hell yeah.
And then so one day my brother came down, who was also a RuneScaper, and he's like, "What the hell? How'd you get all this armor? You don't even do quests. You just like to like kick chickens and stuff."
The old chicken kicker?
Yeah. And I was like, well, technically I told like 5 different people that I'd be their girlfriend, and they gave me all this armor, and then I blocked them. And my brother's like, "That's bullshit," and then did the same thing so he could get better armor.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know, what's another one? Snake on the Nokia brick.
Oh, we were just talking about that.
Classic Snake. You know what's another great Nintendo one? I have 2 great Nintendo ones. One, Mario Party, which I still play today because it's on Switch, Nintendo Switch. But also GoldenEye.
Yes.
All slaps.
Yes,
remember that?
Slaps.
Remember that?
Yeah,
All slaps.
it takes
Just have
like
a big old slap
forever.
party.
Yeah, we would play at Gracie's house all the time.
All the time. Spyro was a big one. Remember that?
That was like my first video game I played at Jake's house.
Are you sure? Are you sure it wasn't Minesweeper?
Is that considered a video game?
That is considered a video game. It's on the computer, right? It's a computer game. Video game.
It's a computer game. That's different from a video game.
Is World of Warcraft not a video game?
No, it's not. It's a computer game.
Is that a difference between video games and computer games?
Yeah, one is played on the computer.
I feel like I think it's like
I would not consider
Catholics versus Christianity of video games, and then you have one specifically for computers.
No, I would say they're all like in the gaming category, but I would say they branch off. So gaming is the umbrella, and then under that you have video games, computer games.
Okay.
So I would never call Minesweeper a video game. I think you'll be attacked in the streets.
Okay.
Hopefully.
Okay.
But yes, I did play Minesweeper. But Spyro was my first legit controller video game.
Yeah.
I loved it.
What about Need for Speed? Need for Speed Tokyo Drift?
I played a lot of Crash Bandicoot.
Oh, yes. I remember that
one.
Yeah. That was a great one. What are you playing right now?
Oh, well, I'm always on that Boomerang.
Fucking love Boomerang Foo.
Boomerang Foo is the best.
What's the other one? Stab.
Oh, yeah. Stab is a good one.
We gotta play that again because that's like wild.
Yeah, that one's bizarre.
I feel like I'm on drugs when I play that. It doesn't, physics doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it kind of uses like that ragdoll physics, and you're like a weird puffy cotton ball bird.
With
and
a stabby beak.
You have to stab your beak into another bird until it explodes.
Yeah, but physics doesn't make sense, so it's hard to maneuver.
Yes, and the thing I like about both Boomerang Foo and Stab is that they're like 2.5D, I think it is, because I get really motion sick from video games, which sounds like the lamest thing ever. But at the beginning of quarantine, I bought Spyro. We got an Xbox, and I was psyched about it. I played for like 2 weeks. I kept getting really nauseous and like overheated when I was playing. I'm like, what the hell's wrong with me? And then I realized I'm getting motion sick from playing video games.
You could take like a scopolamine patch or something before you play.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at my Dramamine so I can play my video game.
It's so lame. But there's a lot of like camera angle switching, and you're like looking around back and forth and flying around.
No, I remember playing that. That was difficult for me to navigate with my brain.
I like those 2D, 2.5D games. Like Boomerang Foo, you're little pieces of food, and you're throwing boomerangs at each other and like slicing each other in half. That one's great. Highly recommend as like a couch
I'm a
party
piece of
game.
toast.
I like to be the popsicle, or there's like a fun little burger. You can be hot sauce.
Ooh.
Yeah, lots of fun games. What about you? What are you playing?
Okay, so I was going to talk a lot about Mario Party on Nintendo Switch because that's what we've been playing a lot. But or Among Us, I like to play that with my nephews so I can gaslight them, which is kind of nice.
I've never played that.
Oh my gosh, it's basically like a whodunit, and then you have like meetings on like who the killer is. I got my nephew so hard once. I made him like question reality. I was the killer, and he was like totally on my side. Like, she is not the murderer. And I was like, I am.
Sounds like a strong way to build up a solid relationship of trust with your nephews.
Yep. But what I started last night, so I had this whole I was going to talk about Mario Party, I can't, because I started a new video game. It's called Untitled Goose Game.
Oh, I've played Untitled Goose Game. I love Untitled
and you have all these little missions, but you don't have to do them. You can just go around and do goose things. You can honk. You can like
you can fuck with people.
I took the gardener's boots like 1,000 times. He got pissed.
Yes.
And I scared a child.
You pop out of a box.
Yeah. I haven't done that yet. I'm like on mission 1. I'm actually quite terrible at it, but
it's hard.
It's like the funniest thing. It's called Untitled Goose Game. If you haven't played it, you got to. It's the funniest fucking thing. You're just going around doing goose stuff, and you don't even have to do the missions. Just goosing around. It's the funniest thing, and you're just like,
yeah. Ian and I play that together.
Stealing shovels and stuff from the gardener, scaring children.
It's the best.
I broke that lady's broom.
Ooh.
Remember when you had to break the broom?
Yes.
I didn't know what I was doing, and then it broke, and I was like, "Fuck yeah!" So then I just took the part of the broom and I left. But yeah, that's my number 1 right now. It's the funniest fucking thing I've ever seen. It's just goosing.
There's another game that has a very similar vibe to that. I can't remember what it is, but you are a ginormous black hole.
Yeah,
and you just suck a bunch of things into your hole.
That sounds like every meal for me.
Yes, suck a bunch of things in your hole. But you're like a black hole where you like grow bigger and bigger the more stuff you suck into it. So it's just like you just got to go like over things and they'll fall into the hole.
Ooh, that's cool.
Not a lot happens.
What's that called?
I don't know. Big hole. No, there's a better name for it, but I can't think of it. But I'll look it up.
So funny.
It's really satisfying.
Yeah.
We're very serious gamers.
We're super serious gamers. No, my boyfriend, he's into like some of those like nice, almost World of Warcraft games, but it's Vikings. I don't know what it's called, but it sounds nice. Looks nice. He gets to ride like a really big kitty cat.
Oh,
I guess it's he calls it a lynx, but I call it a little kitty cat.
I like kitty cat.
It's cute.
Ian plays this like battleship game where you're, it's really boring to me, but he loves it. He was in the Navy, so I don't know, let him have his fun. But you're just a battleship and you gotta battle other ships, I guess.
Sounds par for the name, you know?
Yeah, exactly. I prefer being a little piece of food and throwing a boomerang, personally.
Yeah. And I just wanted a little disclaimer for all you who are like, video games aren't hobbies. Fuck off. Come on. Of course they're hobbies. They're super fun and you get to play and you have a good time. So just, calm your tits.
Relax.
All right? What do you need to get set up? Probably just the internet. I guess it depends on the game. Like sometimes you can get like these. So Christopher was trying to explain to me that you need like, for some of these like really like high-tech games, you need graphic packages, but I guess because everybody's betting on like cryptocurrency and you also need those graphic packages, they're like really super expensive. Isn't that wild?
I don't even really understand the sentence you just said.
But it's like because cryptocurrency and video games use the same kind of thing for graphics if you want like really nice graphics.
What a waste of graphics for cryptocurrency.
I'm explaining that wrong, but yeah. So anyway, but you can make this as cheaper. Minesweeper is for free on the internet. So
on a computer.
RuneScape was free when I was playing it back in like 2002. But I don't know what happened to RuneScape now. But yeah, there's some things, Angry Birds was free, right? Candy Crush was free, except if you wanted to like buy.
I still play Candy Crush.
Do you really?
Yeah, it's my like zone out, do nothing game because it's not very exciting, but it's still something to do. And I know I'm not going to get sucked into it, but I still enjoy it. I'm on level like 2,500 and
That's
something.
Crazy.
Yeah, but pretty big gamer.
Yeah. But yeah, usually you need like the internet and then some sort of gaming console, depending on what game you want to play. Sometimes you just need the internet. So you can make this as cheap or as expensive as you would like, which is kind of nice for those of you who want to game but don't have like the financial thing to do it. That's okay. Here's the debate. Is this a good ADHD hobby? I'm going to say yes, but also no.
I agree.
Okay.
Why did you say that?
So yes, because like the amount of dopamine you get from video games, it's like there's bright colors, there's action, there's drama. You get to be a goose and honk at people. My gosh.
The music, I know a lot of people listen to like video game music while they're studying because it's like engineered to keep your brain alert.
Right. I love the music in the Untitled Goose Game. It's just piano.
Oh yeah, I like that.
Like heightens or lowers depending on what you're doing.
What's the Boomerang Foo song that I always sing? I can't think of it right this second.
I can't think of it. It sounds like we're going to have to play some Boomerang Foo.
Oh, we're definitely going to have to
jog our memories.
Yes.
But I would say, yeah, because there's so much dopamine. It's like it's a silly little thing that you can just sit down and you can just bloop. However, there's a dark side to gaming. I would say it's very, very easy. It's very, 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 very easy to get sucked in. Yes. And it's very addicting because there's so much dopamine. It's like crack cocaine. No, it's not like crack cocaine.
It's worse.
It is not worse. Well, I don't know.
They're
but
just different. I
they're
mean, it
different.
is releasing dopamine chemicals into your brain and making it addicting.
Yes, it's very addicting.
Also, ADHDers are 5 to 10 times more likely to develop an addiction than a neurotypical. Isn't that a fun fact?
That's nice to
So
know.
an addiction can be to anything, including video games.
Yeah, so, yeah. I have a hard time stopping.
Yes.
And going to bed and stopping it and going. I like playing it before bed, especially after like a tough day. Tough day at the office. Got to unwind with some Mario Party.
You say that sarcastically, but that's exactly what you do.
That's exactly what I do. Yeah, I'm the little chode guy. I forget what not the toad. No, the mushroom. I forget
Toad.
which. No, Toad's the mushroom guy, but the gross
mushroom.
No.
Oh, the stumpy one.
Stumpy mushroom.
What's his name? Yeah, you're that guy? I'm always Toad.
I'm either that one, or if I'm playing Mario Party, I like to be the blue girl. I know her name's Rosalina, but she looks more like a Claire to me, so I call her Claire.
This guy? Or the little brown one?
Little brown one. The chode.
No, not that guy.
Yeah, that little guy.
That little stomper guy?
This guy.
What is he called?
Chode.
All right,
I don't know what his real name. Chode.
I don't know what his name is either. Goomba.
There it is. Yeah, Goomba. I call him Chode. I don't think I call anybody by their regular name.
Doesn't sound like it.
Chode and Claire. That's what I do.
Claire is such a normal name.
Claire's a normal name because she looks like a ghost Elsa is what she looks like, but she doesn't look like a Rosalina, I guess.
All right, Claire works.
Rosalina is such like a nice name. Claire's, as is Claire, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, she looks more like a Claire to me than a Rosalina, and I get to play her, so I get to name her, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, she's a better die than Goomba. Goomba has like a very chody dice to go with his chody self. So. Chode. I feel like there's yes, but no. Do you agree?
I agree. Well,
do you also have that issue where you have a hard time stopping?
I'm not as bad as you. I remember the first time I showed you and Christopher Boomerang Foo.
It was like taking heroin for the first time. Not that I have any experience with that.
He literally, like, you guys had to leave. It was like 11 p.m. He was like, one more game.
I know. We're both.
So I think Ian went to bed and you guys stayed up.
Ian fell asleep on the couch.
Yes, and you guys stayed up and played Boomerang Foo.
Yeah. God.
So,
whoops.
With great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah, so we got to be better about that.
It is very addicting. I mean, it's designed to be this huge dopamine hit.
Right.
So we're kind of like their perfect victims.
Yeah.
We need that dope. They got that dope.
Yeah.
So, I would agree. I do think it can be good, but you do need to have some self-control. I don't know. You could try a timer, but with stuff like that, timers never work. I'm like, ignore.
Mario Party is kind of hard because it's like you can't just do one more game. Like each game's like an hour.
Game.
So it's like you're either in it or you're not. It's nice. I think I can time myself because there's like a definitive end,
Yeah.
But with like the goose game, I was up till like 1 a.m. last night playing the goose game. Untitled Goose Game. Just honking at children. And then I was like, holy shit, I got to get to bed.
Sounds so lame, but I've played it before and I know how fun it is.
If you don't know what it is, you got to look it up. It's the funniest fucking thing. It's so great.
Yeah, it is great.
Here's a debate for y'all. Tamagotchis. Remember Tamagotchis?
Oh boy, do I.
How many did you kill?
Countless.
Yeah, same. You know what? I never had a Tamagotchi because I wasn't that cool. What was the off-brand? It wasn't Neopets. This is a classic.
Neopets.
It wasn't a Neopet though. It was.
I remember Neopets.
Oh, it was the off-brand of Tamagotchi, and I can't remember the name.
Can't remember. But
Google.
I had a real Tamagotchi.
Yeah, I know, because you and Stephanie had all like the brand label things, and then
that was like the only thing I had. Okay. Everything else I did not have.
Okay, so label. Stephanie had she had the American Girl dolls. I did
not.
Magic Addict dolls, off-brand. She had oh man, it was just like classic. She had all I wanted was Playmobil. I got the off-brand of Playmobil.
Oh, we did have Playmobil.
I love Playmobil.
I love Playmobil.
That's a story for another day. But
we'll have to talk Playmobil.
Yeah, we can do Playmobil
because
talk.
Lego gets so much, conversation.
Right.
No one's talking about Playmobiles. Controversial opinion. Controversial opinion alert. I think Playmobiles are more fun than Legos.
I would agree with that. Legos, I feel like you gotta
build in order to play
something.
With them.
What if I just want to play?
What if I want to play? I remember Haley and I would play, we would play in that whole big attic. Remember they had that finished attic with the carpet, and it was
She
huge.
has so many Playmobiles.
We would build these huge towns throughout the whole attic.
That's what it was. Sorry, it took me a second, but it's a Gigapet. Yes. I had Gigapets.
I also had a Gigapet at one point, but I didn't have a Tamagotchi.
I had 2 different Gigapets.
So what's our question? What's our debate?
You can still buy these. Oh, here's a Groupon for a bunch of them.
Refurbished. Oh my God. They've been brought back to life.
Here's my debate. Tamagotchi, is that a video game? I'm going to say yes.
You know what? I think I'm also going to say yes.
We're taking a poll. Everybody pay attention.
I would say Tamagotchis, if anything, are more of a video game than Minesweeper.
I disagree. I think video games, you can just, I would say they're all games, I guess.
But one is on a computer.
Oh, true. Okay.
And there's a word for that. It's computer game. There's a category for that.
Yes.
But Tamagotchis don't really fall into either category of video games or computer games. But if anything, I'd say they're more of a video game because it's like an independent screen.
True.
And you're pressing buttons.
Right. Like a Game Boy. What would you say for Game Boys?
Yeah. If anything, they would go in a third category that is like handheld.
But what about the Nintendo Switch? Because you can do a handheld or you can do it on the television.
Well, I'm just not qualified to answer that question because you're making it too complicated.
Okay, so here's my debate. Tamagotchis, video games or not a video games? We're going to take a poll. Send us your thoughts.
Yeah.
Look out for that on the IG, the Instagram.
Yes, I do want to hear people's thoughts because I'm still not sure. So maybe you can convince us one way or another.
And that's it. That's all I got for video games. So write in, see what games. Have you played the Goose game?
Yeah, let us know.
Do you have equally fun yet weird game that is easy to access that you would like to chat with us about? Let me know.
Yeah. All right.
I would ask you to, if I had a RuneScape account, I would ask to RuneScape with you, but I don't anymore.
I feel like other podcasters do like a Twitch stream of them playing like Among Us or whatever.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so that's all I got, but tell us your thoughts. I'd like to know.
I wish I could remember the Boomerang Foo song right now so I could sing it as we fade out into the next segment.
Well,
fuck. What is that? I gotta look it up.
Now we gotta look it up. You're gonna have to do so many edits of us looking shit up. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom.
Do-do-do-do-do-do. Bow, bow.
That's perfect. Oh, man, I felt like I was right there.
I know. Whoa.
Where's my controller?
Who turned Boomerang Foo on?
Yeah. All right. So that wraps up video games, and we're on to our next segment.
It's time for Alternative Segments! Alternative!
Wow! All right. So, yeah, that was great. This segment, ADHD Gifts and Talents.
We're talking positive traits of ADHD.
Heck yeah. We're positive.
Kristin, what is one of your many, many ADHD gifts and talents?
Okay, I like to call this last-minute social mobilization.
Genius.
What basically that means is whenever I go on like vacation or plan a thing with someone, the planning part is hard.
Very.
Especially with vacations, but luckily I go with people who are very organized.
Smart.
So they plan like the tough stuff, like where are we going to stay? What days are we going to go? And basically I get the time off. And then like probably like a day or two before, they're like, oh my gosh, I don't know what hikes to go on or what restaurants to go to. And I'm like, that's me. Tagging in. Boom. We have an itinerary. We have restaurant choices A through E. We have hikes. What days are better for what hikes based on the weather and what time amount that we have. Social mobilization. Or if we go on like a day hike here, we've been on a couple hikes, but I went with Gracie a lot, our other friend Gracie. And it was a lot of like, here's the All Trails link. Here's brief instructions on how to get there in case your phone dies. We're going to leave at this time. If you leave from your house at this time, I'll leave at this house from my time. And we'll meet there around the same time. We'll do the hike. And then we will bring these snacks, all these things. Last minute socialization. Last minute social mobilization.
I like that term.
Yep.
You are good at that.
Yeah.
It sounds like you like having the structure, like especially with vacations planned.
Yeah.
Like And that's what I have trouble with also with anything of like, I don't know how to even start this and like get a structure.
The initiation. Once you were like, we're going to get there this day. And then I'm like, all right.
Yes, I can plan if I have like a bigger structure to like confine those plans.
Also, like if you're doing outdoor activities, it totally is dependent on the weather. So you don't want to like hike while it's like downpouring unless that's your thing. That's weird, but sounds miserable. But yeah, Grace, what's your gifts and or talent?
So one of my ADHD gifts is I have an extremely specific memory for objects that I've either dropped on the floor or I've seen them on the floor but haven't actually bothered to pick them up yet.
You do. Yes.
So like if someone needs a rubber band, I'm like, oh yeah, I know exactly where that is. It fell behind the couch. We have one left. It fell behind the couch. It's like to the left of it by the couch leg.
Yep.
And I know exactly where that is. And boom, you know? I may not have a great memory for things like facts and knowledge and like computing, but when it comes to knowing where to find an extremely specific object that I probably should have picked up but didn't, just logged it in my brain, that's, I guess, what is taking up all the space in there.
That's perfect. But what if someone like goes in and cleans up your home?
That's a problem.
You're not going to know where anything is.
Oh, well, so I have like a jar of pens on my nightstand next to my bed.
Yep.
And most of them suck. They don't work. I have one specific pen that I use to journal in at night. The rest of the pens, I don't know. They're just there for show. I dropped them on the floor a few weeks ago. They like fell off the edge and I just left them on the floor because like I don't use them anyways. They don't work. I'll pick them up at some point. And Ian came over and like picked them up for me. He was like, I picked up all your pens. I was like, those are supposed to stay there.
I don't know which one's which.
They're just going to get knocked over again. I was just planning to leave those there.
Those are my floor pens.
I know they're there. I'm aware. So yeah. That's, I don't know about a talent, but it's something.
It's a gift, I would say. More of a
I'm
gift.
Touched.
Yeah. Nice. That's a nice one.
Yeah. Pretty good.
That's a great talent.
Yeah. All right. And that's been Alternative Segments. Alternative
Segments.
Shall we get into our final segment?
Yes. I'm ready.
All right.
I'm a little nervous about this one.
Are you?
I'm going to get toxoplasmosis, among other things, but ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Pizza secrets, tell me your secrets. Pizza secrets. Nice. All right.
Pizza secrets.
Oh, that's a nice one.
Thank you.
There's a good baritone on that.
That's me.
Yep. Grace baritone.
Yep. Grace baritone spoon maker. Grace the baritone spoon maker.
Oh my God, I was just about to say that.
That's what they call me.
You want to go first? You want me to go first? What do you want to do? You want me to go first? You want me to go first?
I'll go first.
You want to go first? Okay.
Stop saying things. I'll go first because mine's just like a short little ditty, a little bagel bite, maybe. So, Haley, I'm sorry I'm telling our pizza secret, but when Haley and I were in, I don't know, probably like first or second grade, we played on a softball team. We were little shits together, and we played against a team that had two twins on it who are, I don't want to say anything too mean, but
wait, can you?
If you played softball, you know who they were. The twins.
I don't know who those are.
Oh, because you didn't play softball, as we know. But if you played softball in
You're going to bleep that name out?
Yes.
Okay.
You know who these girls are. They were just mean, and so we played against them, and I think we beat them. So that makes the secret even worse.
Nice.
Yeah. So, you know, after you finish a sports game and you go through the lineup where you slap hands and say, good game, good game.
To show that you have good sportsmanship.
Yes. Yeah. You know that sportsmanship thing you do? Yeah. So Haley and I decided to spit on our hands before we went through the lineup and slapped everyone's hands.
What grade were you in?
Probably like first or second. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it was really mean.
That is super mean.
Yeah.
And gross.
Yeah, really gross. And I think we beat them.
This
so like,
is
what
pre-COVID.
The fuck? What kind of sportsmanship is that?
None. That's zero sportsmanship.
But I mean, we both have ADHD, so we weren't thinking, we just did it. Like a lot of things that we did growing up. And Haley's dad saw us do it, and we got in so much trouble afterwards.
I bet.
Yeah, I think he probably told my parents, and we got in a lot of trouble. And I think we had to apologize to them, which sucks.
That sucks.
Because they didn't know until we told them.
Yeah.
It was our little secret.
Just a pizza secret among friends.
Yes. Pizza secret!
Pizza secret! Gross.
Yeah, it is.
I've got another gross one.
All right, let's hear it.
Ready?
Yeah.
As we know, Snickers has IBS.
Yes.
So she's getting a lot better, but has some litter box issues. She has litter box fear because we've added a new cat to the home, and she decided that litter box was the enemy, so we got a new one, geriatric litter box, which is a real thing.
What's the difference? There's no lip that you have to step over?
Well, the lip is smaller.
Oh.
She still misses
There's like
sometimes.
a bar to hold on to?
Yeah.
Like in an old person's shower? There's a life alert.
Yeah. She needs a life alert.
It's got like a place to sit down in the corner.
It's got high sides and then it has a low bottom, but she just has some trouble like getting her bottom all the way over into the, among other things. She's doing a lot better. She did a really good one today. I was proud of her. She got almost all of it in there.
Okay.
I was proud of her. I gave her a high paw.
You are such a cat mom.
So I was trying to like show her, we changed where the litter box, we've been doing these different things where we changed where the litter box is. We put her in a room with just her in the litter box. So she goes to the litter box, and I was trying to show her that like, this is your new litter box now, because the shape is a little bit different than what she's used to. So I was like, no. It was, oh God, what was it? It was one, I got a disposable one because we were going through litter boxes like crazy. So I got a disposable one, but now since we have the geriatric one, we don't need it. But I was trying to show her, this is your litter box. So I was like digging in there with my little fingers, like ting, 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 like trying to show her like, this is the litter box and you can dig in it and you can poop in there. And my boyfriend caught me doing that. And he's like, what are you doing?
I know this isn't what happened, but I'm picturing you like being on all fours in the litter box, like scooping.
No, I wasn't in the litter box. I was sitting on the ground.
I'm going to picture you in the litter box.
A hell of a litter box. No, I was on the ground next to the litter box with the cat sitting next to me, looking at me like, what the fuck are you doing in my litter box? And I was like, look, Snickers, look. And she'd look at me and she'd look at the litter box and she'd look at me and look at the litter box. Anyway, she's doing better.
Jesus Christ.
It's a secret. Probably shouldn't have shared that. This is how I get toxoplasmosis.
Yes.
It was clean and I washed my hands. It was mostly clean and I washed my hands after. I think it was clean.
Well,
I mean, there wasn't any like obvious stool in it, but I'm trying to think if the litter was new or not. I don't know.
That's something you probably should have thought of before you did it, but here we are.
It was kind of like, I was like, what if I show her how to use
I'll
it?
Inspire her.
Yeah, I'll inspire her to poo.
And she did.
She's doing all right, kind of. She did poop on my boyfriend in the bed. It's a mild setback. I call New Year's Eve. I'm rounding on all my patients, and I get a call. She's going, she pooped, and I go, oh, where? He goes, on the bed, and I was like, oh shit. He goes, on me. So I guess she like went over, sat on him, and just popped a squat. So we're trying different things.
So your little digging lesson didn't work very well?
It did not, but
the effort was there.
The effort was there. She does like her new litter box though, so we're good.
Good.
If you have any tips, send them on in.
Yeah, sure. Pizza Secret.
Pizza Secret.
All right, and that is our show.
Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. David, I hope you're sleeping well.
It's time to start brushing your teeth, David. Getting ready. Get your nightcap on.
Don't forget to floss.
Yes, although I don't.
I flossed the other day. I was pretty proud of myself.
Did you just bleed everywhere?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, if you're on your period, you bleed more from your gums. You're just extra bleedy that day, those days.
I didn't know that.
So I tried to tell, one time I went into the dentist, they're like, you're bleeding a lot. I'm like, I'm on my period. That did not go over
What does that have to do with anything?
That's what my aunt told me. She said that, so I just tried to lie to my dentist. They obviously know that I'm not a huge flosser.
It's because I'm on my period. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I don't go to the dentist anymore.
Yeah, I don't either. All right.
That's been our show. Hope you like it. If you have any comments about video games, the Goose game, flossing, litter box,
and especially if you have another good like couch Xbox game for people to play, or
Nintendo Switch. I'm on Nintendo Switch.
Yes, but I want one that's similar to Boomerang Fu. Boomerang Fu for me is like the gold standard of like a group game that everyone can play. Yeah. You learn it really quickly. There's only a few controls, so everyone can get really good at it really quickly. It's a great dopamine hit, and I haven't been able to find a game like it. It's so satisfying. You're getting to slice foods in half.
This episode is not sponsored by Boomerang Fu,
but
people.
I wish. Please sponsor us, Boomerang Foo.
Yeah, hey, Boomerang Foo, we like you.
But also, if you have a game that's similar to Boomerang Foo, please let me know.
Game.
Or Goose Game.
I need something. I love Boomerang Foo, but the chaos of the Goose Game is really what hit the spot. If you have any suggestions, if you have any comments, questions, if you have a big feel and you need to tell us about it, go right on ahead and hit us up on Instagram in our DMs. We are at Weirds of a Feather. You can hit us up on TikTok at Weirds of a Feather. We are on the Gmail, weirdsofeather@gmail.com. And that's it, right? We don't have any other socials. We don't have a Facebook. We talk about this every goddamn time.
No Facebook.
No Facebook.
Email us, follow us, give us, rate. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts.
I would say write us a letter, but...
Write us a handwritten letter.
As my Grammy would say, don't waste your stamps.
Yeah, don't save your stamps. Write us an email.
Save your money. Don't waste your stamps. Write us an email.
And all of the ADHD traits that we mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, that resource is down below in the show notes. So check that out. Dive in, do a little more reading. The Chad website has a bunch of great information and resources. So if that kind of sparked your interest, check it out. There's a lot to learn.
We'll post on Instagram. We'll do some polls on like whether people like Tamagotchis or Gigapets, whether Tamagotchi is we'll do some polls because people like the polls, so we do the polls. We do what the people want.
Always
because we care about you.
We care about you.
And I'm so nosy. I need to know what everybody thinks. I have a comment. A lot of people, we had a 50-50 split of nubbins versus nails, and that was very surprising. Yeah, nubs. I'm team nubs.
Yeah, there are a lot of nubs out there.
Yeah. If you've got nubs, write us in.
If you can with your nubs.
Yeah. Yeah, so they have nubs. They don't have nails to get in the way. They're just nubs.
But what if they're so sensitive? What if their nubbies are sensitive?
I think your nubbies are sensitive, but my nubbies are hard nubbies. These are like...
Those are hard
These
nubbies.
Are working nubs.
You've got countless nubs. I've got delicate
You have delicate nubs.
Indoor boy next door.
Yeah, you
fingers.
have the indoor boy next door nubs, but I've got hard working nubs. These are dairy farm nubs. No, they're not.
No, not at all.
No, I'm scared of cows.
All right.
Yeah, this has been Weird of Feather.
Talk to you next week.
All right. Good night, David.
Good night, David. Oh, I should do a morning dove.
Yeah.
Whoa. Sounds like a ghost.
It does. A haunted morning doves. It's just ghosts.
Ooh, I will have my revenge.
Ghosts of a Feather.
Ooh, I like that.
Halloween episode.
Yes. Let's remember that. Write it down. Ghosts of a Feather. Someone remind us.
Someone.
All right. See ya.
Bye.